So I was asked a few weeks ago to consider the importance of giving back and how scholarships have impacted me. As an undergrad, I didn't think much of it, but as a graduate student, a little bit more mature, I've understood a lot more about it. As an undergraduate, when I was considering Campbell versus other universities, receiving a scholarship was what made it financially possible for me to attend my school of choice. That was the difference between Campbell and the other schools, was getting a scholarship. It meant that I could work a few less hours, I got to focus on my studies. So all of the financial aspect of scholarships is important. I realize now that the scholarships are not just about money. Now don't get me wrong, I want to minimize my loans and debt just as much as the next student. But when someone gives their hard-earned money toward a scholarship, they're taking a step of faith and they're investing in a student's life. I mean, you're telling a student you believe in his or her cause and you want them to succeed. There's a new level of responsibility when you think of it that way. When I was notified that I had received a scholarship, I was going through a serious time of self-doubt and reconsideration. Now, maybe I'm the only grad student to question their calling, but the first week of classes, I knew I was in over my head. I'm a non-traditional student, returning after a 10-year hiatus, the oldest in my cohort, and originally the only parent in the entire program. I'd been a fourth grade school teacher, and I had no background in the health field. So despite coming in with an excellent GPA and test scores, I felt very underqualified. And when I compared myself to my peers, I felt like a fraud. Although I maintained good grades, every day was a struggle. And I constantly questioned where I fit in with such an elite group of students. I remember that day I was driving to school and at a very low point, pretty much ready to quit the program. And so I prayed. I said, God, I need some encouragement. I need to know that I didn't make a mistake, that I hadn't misheard his calling. And God was very quiet during that car ride. When I got to class, like every diligent graduate student, I checked my social media, I checked my emails. Sure, it was a great lecture. No idea. But I stumbled across an email from Stephanie Olson, and it said, congratulations, you are a recipient of the DPT Direct Aid Scholarship. I got my answer. I got the answer to my prayer and the strength to carry on. Someone else believed in me, maybe even more than I believed in myself in that moment, enough to invest in my future. So the scholarship wasn't meant to pay all my bills, it wasn't my full ride till graduation, but it was the encouragement that I needed. It was an affirmation. Someone saw a glimpse of who I was and said, you're good enough. You know, the scholarship committee had compared me to the same peers that I'd been comparing myself to, and they thought I was worthy. And now, only weeks before graduation, I have the privilege to say thank you. And I've had the privilege to say thank you in front of hundreds of people to my benefactor for believing in me, for helping me to reach my dreams. And I encourage you to do the same, to think about giving someone else that chance, that future. So on behalf of all scholarship recipients, I thank you. Thank you for your act of faith, for believing in dreams, and for giving a student hope. Thank you.